All right. We are live on Instagram and we are live on Facebook. So welcome back. Make sure everyone can see. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Boyd, the chemist, and today we are going to make glue, homemade glue. And the items that you're going to need for today are as follows. You will need gelatin. Now that's a tough one. Not everyone will have gelatin, I'm sure. And I'm gonna use like the traditional old school gelatin, and maybe you'll make cream cheese with, as depicted here in this picture. However, if you have the Jello kind of gelatin, this is a generic version of that, that should work as well. All right. So in terms of gelatin, that's what you'll need. Sugar, water, paper, and I'm going to actually use note cards. When I say paper, I'm just talking about some piece of paper because we want to be able to test our glue out later on. And you're going to need a mixing container to mix all of these components together with. All right, so again, we're making glue, and these are the items that you'll need, and we will get started in about a minute or so. I see we got several people there on Instagram. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not in the way of the camera there. Got some regulars joining us today. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we will go ahead and get started. So, welcome back. And today we are discussing something that is just a little fun thing to try at home and to make at home and to consider. We'll be making glue. But before we begin making the glue, you already know we discuss every time safety. Safety. Safety is the most important thing that I, as a scientist, and any scientist has to pay attention to whenever they do an experiment. Particularly in my particular branch of science, I'm a chemist, and I'm what we call a wet chemist. That means I go into the laboratory and I actually run reactions and I synthesize or make things. And that requires sometimes using dangerous chemicals or compounds, or what we would call reagents, dangerous reagents. Okay. So for me, safety is on the forefront of my mind. It's something I'm thinking about every time I do an experiment, because it could be harmful to me or others if I don't pay attention to safety. And so whenever you do an experiment, even when you're thinking about what experiments you want to do, you want to consider what safety measures do you need to take in order to run the experiment safely. All right, so today we're making glue, and you already know we're using gelatin, sugar, water. Those are the things that we'll be mixing together, and we're going to do that in a mixing container. By the way, mixing container, I just got like a little plastic cup. So we'll be mixing in there, and then we need some paper. Among those items, are any of them going to be particularly dangerous for me to use? Are they going to be hazardous? Will they harm someone else? Well, fortunately, the answer today is no, meaning that we don't need to wear our personal protective equipment, or PPE, or safety gear, right? Which is what? What do we wear in order to be safe? All right, typically for me as a chemist, basics include wearing eye protection. That may be safety glasses or splash goggles. I'll wear something on my hands, gloves, some gloves to cover up my hands, and then I will wear a lab coat to protect my body and my clothing. Okay, So those are kinds of things I typically consider. Sometimes my experiments may require more than that. So I actually have a mask that I'll wear if there's a certain thing that I might breathe in that will be harmful. I might wear a face shield. If something might be explosive, it could pop and shatter in my direction. Okay, there are different things that I may have to consider, but basics include covering up my eyes, my hands, and my body. All right, we don't have to do that today. We are doing an experiment or a demonstration that is very, very safe. We are going to make a glue. So, first question for the day: what is a glue? What is glue? What is glue? All right. Now, I hope you have your lab notebook because it's important for you to write down what you're doing, why you're doing it, and whatever predictions and hypotheses you have for the day. So today, your topic, we are making glue. Write that down as your topic. And for your first question, what is glue or what is a glue? All right. What is glue? What do you think glue is? Where do you see glue used? What is glue's purpose? Okay. Well, glue, we use glues to stick things together, hold things together. All right. Another name for glue would be adhesive. Let me write that one out for you. Still got my wonderful picture from yesterday of airplanes. Let me erase that. By the way, I had a lot of fun making airplanes yesterday. I'll probably post some more videos of me playing with all the airplanes that I made. I had a lot of fun with that one. All right, so another term for glue is adhesive. And I'm going to spell that out for you. If you're just listening, it's spelled ADHESIVE. All right, adhesive, adhesive, adhesive. That is another term that we use for glue, adhesive. All right. So what is an adhesive? What is a glue? What do we do with adhesives? Where do we see adhesive used? Okay, I can give you a really long technical definition of what a glue is. A glue is like any non-metallic substance that when applied to one surface or both surfaces of two separate items, all right, so it's a non-metallic substance that when applied to one surface or another surface of two separate items, holds them together, or we use this term, binds them together and resists their separation. All right. So any non-metallic substance that when applied to one surface or another surface binds or holds those two surfaces together and resists their separation. I'll say that one more time in case you were writing that down. A glue or an adhesive is a non-metallic substance that when applied to one surface or another surface, it binds those two surfaces together, those two objects together, and resists their separation. That means it's hard for these two to come apart. You'd have to use some force to pull them apart because there's a glue or an adhesive in between them. Got the Wilsons and the Stargills in the house. Good to see you. All right, so that is what a glue is. Where do we see glue? Where do we see glue? Where is glue useful? Okay, glue is useful when we want things to stick together. All right, if I want something to be held to a surface, let's say you've made a really nice picture for your mom or for your dad, and they're really excited about it, and they want everybody to see it when they come into your home, and they may want to hang it on the wall. Maybe they'll use glue on that and hang it to a wall. Now, they probably wouldn't do that in most places in the house, but just as an example, okay? Sometimes you might cut out a little picture of an animal, like let's say a whale, and then you want to stick it to a picture of the ocean. How would you do that? One thing that you might do is put a glue on the back of the whale picture and stick it to the picture of the ocean, right? That's a place where glues might be used. Now, I can tell you, glues are all around us. We use them all of the time. And so glue is incredibly important for lots of things that we do every day. Many things are held together by glue. I'm talking to you on a table that I know has glue underneath it, and parts of the table are stuck together with glue. Yes, we use nails and hammers to screw or to tighten things together, but we often use glues as well. Okay, I see my two nephews and my niece have joined us. Good to see you. I hope your dad showed you the video that I posted to my YouTube channel. He hasn't told me if he's done that yet or not. Anyhow, my niece and nephew are featured in a video on my YouTube channel, so do check it out. We were using candy to make models of DNA. Definitely check that out. In any case, what is a glue though? What can be considered a glue? What can be considered a glue? Well, believe it or not, many things can be considered glue. Why? Because many things can hold two surfaces together and resist the separation of those two things. So can you think of something that you might consider a glue, that you don't necessarily buy it in the store as a glue, but something that you can consider a glue? I have one for you. Honey, right? Honey. Yeah, we eat honey. We might put it in our yogurt, or we might put it on the top of our ice cream and it tastes great. But honey is a type, or could be considered a type of glue. Why? If I took honey and laid it onto this piece of paper and took another piece of paper and stuck it on top, it would not be easy to pull the two pieces of paper apart. Meaning that these two pieces of paper, that honey would resist the separation of those two pieces of paper. All right. Can you think of another example of something that could be considered a glue that we might use for another purpose? Like honey, we eat honey, but is honey the only example you could come up with? Is there something else that you might consider a glue that isn't a glue technically? All right, that we would buy, for example, as a glue in the store. Oh, I see my college buddy, Tiara. Good to see you. Hope your kids are enjoying this. All right, so I gave you an example of honey. I will let you come up with other examples to think about, but there are glues all around us all of the time. And so let's get right into this experiment, or I guess this demonstration today. What you'll need to do is to take this container that you have, and I maybe should have told you need some measuring utensils as well. So the first thing you want to do is we're going to take 2.5 tablespoons of lukewarm water and add that to this container. So pardon me, I didn't pull my water out. Let me go grab some water, and I'm going to add that to this container here. So 2.5 tablespoons of water. Okay, so we have 2.5 tablespoons of water in this container now. I think maybe you can see it. Okay, there it goes. All right, so I have 2.5 tablespoons of water. Oh, you know what? I do so many experiments, I forget sometimes that I have done. I poked a hole in the bottom of this cup because I was doing the friction water demonstration with that one. I forgot about that. Okay, I'll be back. I get a little more water. Yeah, I had poked a hole in the bottom of that container so I could let water drip through so people could see it being bent or moved by static electricity. Okay, so I have my water in this container. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar. All right, 1 teaspoon of sugar. So again, you're not using a lot of sugar. You just need a teaspoon. This is my science outreach container. I have lots of things at home that I know a lot of people may not have, but I have them just so I can do demonstrations like this. So this is my stash of sugar for science. All right, so I've got 2 teaspoons of sugar in there. And now what I want to do is whatever gelatin you have. Again, I actually have the traditional, I guess, white gelatin that people who are old school cooks use for a lot of things. But if you have like Jello, Jello, or a generic version of that, that should work too. Now, I will tell you, it'll get a little stickier on your hands, I think, than the gelatin I'm using, just as a warning. And this may get a little messy. My apologies. You want 2 teaspoons of the gelatin. All right, so 2 teaspoons of gelatin. It's a half teaspoon. That's another half. 1.5. All right, there's my 2 teaspoons of gelatin. Now all you're gonna do is stir. So I have a stirring rod here because I'm a chemist and I just got these things lying around. You can use a spoon, obviously. Now this will take a few minutes really to make it what we call in the chemistry lab homogeneous or homogeneous. You want it to all be the same thickness, essentially. So I'm just stirring this up in this container here. And it's going to take a little while for it to really stir. Now, if you added too much water, it's going to be a little more runny than you want. If you add less water, it'll be thicker and it'll be easier to stir up faster. All right, just as a frame of reference. So you can see what I'm dealing with here. All right. So again, I'm just stirring this. And what's happening is the sugar, the gelatin, and the water, as I'm stirring this, is actually becoming a little harder to stir, just a little bit, and it's becoming thicker, okay? So my glue here is becoming thicker, all right? Okay, so I have what I consider to be pretty well mixed up material here. So I don't see too many lumps or chunks of the gelatin in here. Mine almost looks like applesauce, to be honest with you. Okay. So the question is this a glue? Does it qualify as a glue? Does this mixture qualify as a glue? Now remember the definition that I gave you of a glue. A glue is any non-metallic, so we meet the first requirement, there's no metal here, non-metallic substance that when applied to an object or a surface of one material and or another material, when I apply this glue to that surface, it will resist the separation of those two surfaces. Okay, if it does, then I can say I have a glue. If it does not, then I cannot conclude that I have a glue. All right, so what are we going to do next? We're going to test this out. Okay, this is where your paper comes in. So again, you use a piece of paper. I'm tending to use note cards because it's a little heavier, a little thicker. All I'm going to do here, and this is where having a knife may be more advantageous, I'm going to spread some of this material that I've made here onto a note card. All right, that's all I'm going to do. Now, I'm not going to spread a lot of it on there, just enough so I know it's there. And when I put the other note card on here, I can put them together with some confidence that if it is a glue, that it will stick. Now, then the question would be, how strong is my glue? All right, so I have spread, I'll show you what I've done here. I've spread a pretty thick layer of material onto this note card. All right, it's not particularly even. If I had a knife, it might be a little more even than this. All I'm going to do now is take another note card and lay it on top of that area where I put my glue. All right. So now I'm going to press this on here. So imagine you bought Elmer's glue from the store and you put it on one thing that you want to stick to something else. What do? Well, you press it down and you kind of spread it out evenly, and you put some force to it because you want to make sure that it sticks. All right. So now here goes my test. If it's a glue, then when I lift one side, and you'll notice how I have these note cards, maybe you can't see it too well. I have them kind of staggered. So the end of this top note card is here, and this one is over here. So if this is a legitimate glue, what I should be able to do is hold one end and they should stick together. And in fact, they do. All right. So is the glue that I've made causing the resistance of these two note cards separation? Am I able to separate them easily? The answer is no. That means that what we've made qualifies as a glue. All right. Now, what does it take for this to separate? I'm going to shake this pretty good. That's a pretty good glue. All right, look at this. I actually don't know if how long this is going to stick like this, but I'm flapping this pretty well. All right, so I got a pretty legitimate glue here. So if you were able to do this at home, awesome. I know some people don't have gelatin and may not have sugar or whatever, but if you were able to do it, that's great. If not, I hope you were able to at least follow along with what I did here for you today. So let's review. Let's review. What is glue? What is a glue? What is glue? All right. A glue is any non-metallic, that means there's no metal, non-metallic substance that when applied to one surface or another surface, holds those two surfaces together and resists their separation. All right, that is a glue. I gave you one example, and so let's see if you remember it. What could be considered a glue that we don't typically think of as glue? Name something that we typically don't consider glue, but it could be considered glue. All right, I gave you the example of honey. Some types of honey are that sticky and they hold things together pretty well. All right, so honey would be an example. Corn syrup might be an example. Some other things that are really sticky, okay? We could also think of for those who have looked at construction, bricks. Sometimes we put mortar in between two bricks to hold them together. We might consider that a glue. Okay. All right. And let me try to think of one more question here. Let me say this as a matter of safety. There are certain types of glues when you read or your parents read the instructions, they tell you not to get them on your hands or on your body. The reason is because those glues are so strong that they will stick to your skin and it will be very hard to get off. If you are able to get it off, it'll probably be really painful. So glues can be very dangerous, depending on what they are and how strong they are and what chemicals are in them that make them up. So I would just finish by saying, depending on the glue that you work with or deal with or use, you want to be careful every time you use it. The glue we made today is not dangerous at all. If you put this on your hand, you could just go to the sink and wash it off pretty easily. But some glues are very dangerous and you want to be careful when using them. All right, that is all I have for today. Tomorrow, I think we're doing lava lamps. We're doing lava lamps tomorrow, and we'll have a discussion, a refresher on density. So a lot of this you'll already have in your mind. Hopefully, if you were around for the density demonstration. I will say that I have posted the first 2 weeks of lessons on my YouTube channel. So you can find me on YouTube by following Dr. Boyd the Chemist. Just go to YouTube, search me. You can find me there. Subscribe to the channel. You'll see all the updates. I released a video on Monday about celery. We did that experiment a couple weeks ago. So video on celery with some more specifics, and you can see what I did. I actually put my celery in sweet tea to find out if I can make celery taste like sweet tea. You'll have to watch the video to find out whether or not it tastes like sweet tea. And then tomorrow, last week's lessons that we did here on the live stream will be posted to my YouTube channel also, so you can check those out. You can go back and review. If there was a day that you missed, you can go and see what you missed on that lesson. So each lesson is listed. Lesson 1 through 10 and 11 through 15 will be posted on tomorrow. And next week, I'll post all the videos that we have done this week. All right, with that, thank you for joining me. I hope you learned something and I hope you had fun. And I will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time here on Instagram Live at ScienceMadeSimple_LLC and also on Facebook Live. All right, have a good afternoon.